Mike's Daily Podcast.
Here we are. It took me a couple days, but I finally got back to you. Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, almost daily anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1917. I'm Mike Matthews, and it's like a little bit of heaven because I think the power outages are over, and I have to amend some of the stuff I talked about to you last time, my friend. And that was that, well, I did get a little angry about the
Mike's Daily Podcast
hysteria that was going on in the Bay Area. And I have to say
Mike's
that
Daily
it is better to
Podcast
err on the side of careful.
Yeah!
And what I found out was, though I was okay in Podcastro Valley, there were places of Podcastro Valley that were out of power, no power at all, for the whole day yesterday, and they still might be off. So I apologize if I was a little too hasty about PG&E is not going to do anything. Oh, they did a lot. A friend of mine, his family live up in the hills in more of the central Northern California area, and they are still without power, and they're running on generators. So who wins? I guess PG&E? No, because everyone hates them. The generator companies win. They are, they making money. That's what I would do if I was an entrepreneur, is I would get me some generators and rent those puppies out. Because I come from a family of people that rent things out. For example, my mom rented out videos for many years. That was her thing. Owned a video store. Until there's this little thing called Netflix that showed up. So yeah, that was yesterday and the day before, and it was busy, and yours truly had to go see the doctor.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh, Comcast Xfinity outages happening because of the PG&E power outages. Okay. Yeah, that might happen. They're sort of together. Oh, boy. But you know what? Life is full of... Oh, by the way, the podcast picture, I'll tell you in a moment. It is, in life, the planned and the unplanned. You plan for whatever you can. Whatever you think you can be planning for, you do that. And then, Basil says the same thing. You got to plan for the unplanned. But the thing is, then the unplanned always happens, and you never plan for it. You never know exactly what's going to happen. We are not clairvoyant like Basil the boxer. But what happens is, so what I look at is when I went to Florida about 3 years ago, I flew into Orlando to see my mom in Daytona Beach, which requires taking a shuttle bus about an hour to Daytona Beach. So I planned every little bit of this trip out. Flying to Daytona Beach to see my mom. I, planned out the trip. I think I had to switch planes. I think I was flying Southwest. So to get from Oakland to Orlando, you got to do a layover in Las Vegas, which is interesting because there's slot machines. I wish it was pinball machines. Slot machines everywhere in the airport. And then, you get it. I just give me a direct flight, please. Just a direct flight. Because you land and your body's like, we're here. And you're not. You still got to take off again and land. Ugh. I'm so curmudgeonly. So my lovely lady friend, before I finish this story about Florida, let me just say, my lovely lady friend says, when you do your next podcast, don't be so curmudgeonly. And then yesterday, I'm walking Basil the boxer, who just barked for us a little while ago. And, he might have to say something right now because he was a bit irate about what happened yesterday. I'm walking him, and as I have told you many times, to walk Basil the boxer, I have to carry up his hind legs. I use a thing that carries him up with the handle, a harness. And so I'm walking him along, and he's doing great. You know, we've got this symbiotic relationship going on where I am basically his back legs, and he moves his front legs, and he goes around and sniffs. And so he wants to walk toward... He still wants to meet people. He's a very social dog. A lot of dogs are. I think most dogs are very people person. They're very social. That's why you can't leave a dog chained up. You can't leave a dog inside of a fenced off area to protect your junkyard all the time. Meaner than a junkyard dog. You got to let them meet people and meet other dogs. They otherwise it drives them crazy. So I'm taking Basil the boxer for this little walk, and my lovely lady friend is sitting in the car watching me do this. And she sees as I'm walking towards this mother, kind of a large mother, and her little son. And they're walking along, and the little son is fascinated by Basil. And he asks me, "What kind of dog is that?" And the mom is like, "Come here, Junior. Come here. Be careful of the dog." What the hell is this dog going to do to you? He can barely walk. And these are... Okay, so my lovely lady friend may or may not have said something to the effect of, "That fat woman with her mean..." She was mean to Basil. And I'm like, ooh, that was so curmudgeonly. How dare she? What the heck did she think? She was saying about the mom. What did she think? That Basil was gonna jump up and bite her in the face? How stupid. People can be so stupid. And it's funny because we all have that side to us, don't we? Where we get a little judgy. It's not easy. I'm not in good weight. Oh, so yeah, when I went and saw the doctor yesterday, she tells me I am not in my BMI range. And who is these days? But in order for me, as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley today. No, Mont. Podcastro Valley Mont is where we are. In order to be in our weight range, we really have to do some crazy gymnastics, especially when you're tall. It's difficult. I am supposed to be under 200 pounds. I don't think I will ever see that day. But I definitely need to eat less carbs and fats, and, you know, I need to eat more vegetables. And next time, perhaps I will actually have a vegetable recipe for you that won't make you gag. I'll do some research and see what I find. So, but okay, back to my curmudgeonliness. So I'm flying to Florida, and I know all the ins and outs, and I gotta get ready. And so I prepare, and I pack as light as possible so I don't have to check in anything. And I plan, you know, when I go see my mom, and then when I need to leave. And my mom is very meticulous about that kind of thing. So we're doing that. And the birds sound so nice to calm me down. So I'm leaving Florida, and I'm heading to, I take the shuttle bus down to Orlando. I'm sitting on the plane at the Orlando airport, and we're about to take off, and all of a sudden, this family comes bursting in. This is a very anti-parent, anti-children podcast. No, I love children, and I love parents. Parents that are smart anyway. These were dumb parents. They come bursting... Oh, but Mike, you don't know what it's like to have kids. It's difficult to manage everything. You can never plan for everything. It's always the unplanned. Okay, whatever. So they come bursting in to the plane. The plane is packed. There's like 2 seats are open, but they're not close to each other. Well, I guess there was about 4 seats open, because that's how large this family was, about 4 people. And they're all sitting away from each other. And these aren't like tiny, tiny kids. These are probably 12, 13. And one of them starts crying because he doesn't get to sit next to his brother or his mom. And just starts crying. And they're late. Oh, and then the stewardess or flight attendant or whatever we call them now comes running in and says, Ma'am, you didn't give us your ticket. Ma'am, you got to find your ticket. Oh. And that delayed taking off for about a good half hour. And that's the unplanned, everyone. And you never know, do you? I guess not. Like me right now, I don't know what the podcast picture is. That's why I'm going to jump back. Ooh. I think I'll go back to 2000. I think when I took that trip was actually 2017. But let's go back to October of 2017, shall we? Before I met my lovely lady friend. And, oh, yeah, that's right. That's back when my ex-brother-in-law got married. He had a nice shindig, a soiree, off mission in San Francisco somewhere. Oh, that was a fun time. Oh, wow. I really have not a single... I have so many pictures, but none of them I want to post. This is not going the way I wanted it to wrap up this show. Oh, okay. We'll go with this picture of Basil looking pensively out over the bay. That's good. Okay, I think we've summed it up. You can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to the Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline. No, we won't do that one either. But this is Basil at the Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline looking pensively out into the beyond. Okay, excellent. Next show, I haven't even said hi to the people for this show. Oh, we got to wrap this up because it's 5:56. Nothing changes your view or makes you less stable and organized than getting up at 4:10 in the morning. Absolutely. Let's look who's here. Hello, my commercial. It's Madame Rootabega, and I plan for everything. I have 18 generators in my truck. Whew. Wow, it's a lot. Generators are kind of big, dude. You know how to operate all of them? Yes. And I bet a lot of people in Podcaster Valley could use those right now. Yes. And I bet tonight I'm going to have a lot of fun with Kevin and his lovely lady friend Rosalinda, as my lovely lady friend and I will go out and have German food with him. German food's delicious. Yes. Ooh. Excellent. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
Nobody ever told me that politics was going to be so much fun.
That guy had a lot of fun last night at some rally. I guess he dropped some interesting language, colorful language, talking about the Bidens. Interesting. Look who else is here. Driving in right now. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Hey, guys. How's it going? Mike, I heard you had a hard time down in the garage of your house last night, day, with things falling down, like out here at Cafe Anyway, day. Ah, yes, Cafe Anyway.
Anyway.
Yes, in fact, what happened was, speaking of the unplanned, some roots in my washout to the, from the house down to, takes all the sewage out to the street, under the street, not actually on top of the street, because that would be disgusting. But yes, apparently it got all plugged up with roots. Ah! And I shouldn't have done this, but it was the only thing I had, and I was desperate, and I wasn't going to call a plumber at 8 o'clock at night, and then right before the weekend. So I have this thing called an auger. It's basically one of those things that you see the plumbers use, that they shove down into the pipes, into the washout and whatnot. Those big, but it's a miniature version. And so I used that, and I hooked it up to an electric drill gun. And I went through 2 batteries. Luckily, I had 2 batteries that one could charge while I was using the other one. I think I went through them twice, both batteries. And eventually, by the grace of God, I was able to get the roots out. Oh, that took me 3 hours last night. I'm so sore. Wow. Thanks for reminding me, Valentino. Yeah, no problem, dude. That's some hard work. Yeah, hard work. Do you know that? I'm feeling it today. Hopefully, I put a bunch of root poison down into the pipes before I left today, so I hope that kills them off. And that's... you gotta maintain that, especially when you got old pipes like me. Literally, I got old pipes in my body too. But we're gonna wrap up the show now. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Hope you have fun with all the unplanned stuff that happens. I guess it's what make life interesting, y'all. And so that's why is good. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that. And can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Yes, I can.
Can you dig it?
Hopefully we'll bring you another show soon. That's what I was going to cap this all off with. You never know. The unplanned, right? Okay, what do you think about it all? 336MM Daily. Give me a call. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast is. You can also email me and stuff. Ariel has all that information now.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!